guys, it's Avalon again and welcome back to Simply Avalon. Long time no see, but I am super excited to bring this video to you. As you can tell from the title down below, I'm going to be telling you about the things I wish I knew before I moved to Germany to study abroad. And I'm currently in Berlin and I love it. I really love it here. And I want to make sure that you guys have all the information that you need to know beforehand, just to make sure that you have a very easy transition into Germany and German culture. And the reason I put that into quotes is that I am speaking from my experience in Berlin, and as many Germans will tell you,
Berlin is not true Germany.
So take everything that I'm saying with a pinch of salt. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So my first tip is Bargeld bitte. If you do not speak German, that's basically meaning cash please. If you are coming from the US, you're probably gonna be very surprised to hear that this is a very cash heavy society. I was told that it's largely because Germans do not want people to be able to follow where exactly they are purchasing things from and what they are purchasing. Completely understand it. You'll also hear that a lot of people do not want to go into debt, and that credit cards have a really bad reputation here for helping people get into heavy debt. So you'll find a lot of people only use cash for that reason as well.
Something I also forgot to mention for this tip in particular is that there are ATMs practically everywhere in any city that you're going to. So don't worry about having to take like a ridiculous amount of money as cash with you when you're going to Germany. But make sure that you do have a debit card, preferably one that doesn't have a super high fee associated with it, so that you can get cash easily when you need it.
So generally speaking, even with the whole pandemic situation, you'll generally see most people, especially for restaurants, only accepting cash. So you'll definitely want to make sure you have that on hand. Grocery stores and some cafes are generally more credit card friendly, but I feel like as a rule of thumb, bring enough cash with you. You will likely see a sign saying Bargeld or like Nur Bargeld or something to that effect. Now, let's dive into number 2, which is that learning the language can be super helpful in aiding your experience and taking it from what may be a 6 to an 8 to a 10. I feel like people, like in any country that speaks something outside of English, are very responsive to other people who take the time to try and learn the language that they are speaking. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be the best person speaking the language. I have definitely had a time or two where I will go to a cafe and march in with my German and then they'll respond to me in English. And that's definitely part of the learning experience here. You can just say like, no, like, nur Deutsch bitte, you know, like trying to get them to stick with you in German to help you continue practicing. But generally speaking, that can be the biggest difference in making sure that you have a better experience here in Germany. And honestly, I feel like that's a tip that's probably true for most countries. It's really just a show of respect at the end of the day, and even if you don't have the time necessarily to learn the entire language, learning smaller phrases like how to say please and thank you, or how to actually ask for something that you want, and really just carrying like the Google Translate or the Leo dictionary with you on your phone can be super helpful, just to help you break some of those barriers with the people that you will meet here in Germany. Number 3 is a little bit of a weird one, but people here air out their apartments. And honestly, I didn't fully understand it when I first moved here, but since being here for a couple of months, I actually really enjoy it. And generally speaking, when people come into my apartment, they see that the windows are open. So you can pull the windows open, or you can also just toss it up and crack the windows. But generally you wanna have them open a couple of times a day for at least 10 minutes each. And allegedly it's because the homes here are really built to be like super suctioned in and sealed, meaning that moisture can't really escape. So you want to open up the windows from time to time just to make sure that that moisture is able to escape from the building so that you're not getting mildew and mold and things that you definitely do not want in your apartment. Number 4 is that public transportation will be your best friend. I feel like a lot of people look at New York and they're just like, it'll be grimy. Like, do people actually take public transport? And to answer the question, yes, they do. The U-Bahn is amazing. Generally speaking, it's on time. I will say relatively recently, it's been a little less on time, but generally you can find some pretty great connections regardless of which U-Bahn station that you are located on. From there, you also have the S-Bahn train. So there's like different Bahnhofs or train stations located around the city, regardless of whether you're in a Berlin or a Leipzig or a Munich. There's all sorts of areas that you can just take the S-Bahn, which are your local trains. And then there's the tram systems, which are pretty self-explanatory. And lastly, you have your buses, which are, again, pretty self-explanatory. I feel like, generally speaking, you can get anywhere you want to go pretty quickly using public transit. And I see my memory card is about to go out, so let me swap that really quick. All right, so number 5 is also a little bit different from at least the American experience, and that is here in Germany, they are very serious about separating trash. So you'll actually see that there are multiple different trash bins and that you should not just throw everything into one plastic bag together. They're very, very cognizant of how important it is to recycle and to make sure that things are disposed of properly. So I will actually put a picture over my face right now of the exact different colors that there are, because there are multiple colored bins. Basically, you separate natural waste, so that'll be like your fruits, vegetables, leftover food waste essentially, from your paper products, your glass products. Again, you're seeing this on the screen. I'm not gonna go too far into it. Number 6 is that you should keep your water bottles. So whenever you purchase a water bottle, and it doesn't have to be a water bottle, but just any type of bottled product, generally speaking, if you look at the sales tag in the store, you will actually see at least it was peculiar to me, band number that'll tell you that you have made a deposit on the bottle. So you may have purchased a bottle for, let's just say, €1.25, and then you look below and it says that it has a 50-cent deposit on it. That means that if you finish that bottle of whatever the beverage is and bring it back and you insert it into this really cool machine, then you'll receive 50 cents back, and that is receiving the deposit for them to get the bottle back. And then you can get that deposit either as a coupon, so that when you go back to the store, whether it's like Edeka or Aldi or Lidl, whichever is your preferred choice, Rewe as well, then you can either receive it as a coupon, or you can take that coupon directly to the cash register and they can actually give you the monetary amount of that. And another really interesting thing, at least for me, that's kind of like a bonus addendum to that point as well, is that if you have a bottle, let's just say you're out and about in town and it's like, I finished this, I want to throw it away. Instead of throwing that bottle away, what a lot of people like to do is place the bottle either off to the side of the trash bin or the mule container, or on top of the container. And that's because there are people who will go around collecting these bottles to get these deposits back, so that they can have like a little bit more money to get back for those deposits, and it's going to a good place. So I feel like, generally speaking, do not throw away your bottles. If that's your only takeaway from this video, that's still a pretty good one in my opinion. Number 7 is actually one of my favorite ones, and that is that coffee and kuchen culture here is very much alive and well. I feel like a lot of people were a little bit concerned when I was coming over here, since it was still the pandemic times, and it still is. But what coffee and cake, which is coffee and kuchen, culture is that, generally speaking, around that like 3 to 4 time, 3 to 5, really right before dinner, but after lunch, that really sweet spot time, you can meet with friends and kind of just hang out, get a little coffee pick-me-up. And even if you're like me and you don't really like coffee, it could be tea, it could be just a slice of cheesecake. A lot of areas will like allow you to like sample their different dishes during that time, and you can just catch up. And it's really, really nice to kind of slow down and really enjoy the time that you have with other people. I feel like we need to like transport that to the US 100%. Number 8 is that everything you've heard about how bureaucratic Germany is likely true. So when you are coming here, the first thing that you should probably have in the back of your mind, not the front of your mind, is that you need to get the Anmeldung done. Now, Anmeldung is also your residency permit, so that's basically registering with the Amt or the different office depending on where you live, just so that Germany can know that you have a registered house or just some sort of living area that you are registered under. So if there's any important mail that needs to come to you, they have that address, and they also just know that you're, you know, I guess not slumming it out here. and I'm sure there's for other purposes as well. Anyway, that's outside of the point. That is really important since if you are staying past 90 days in Germany, then in order for it to be legal and by the books, at least for Americans who do not need a visa to get into Germany, then you need to have that Anmeldung in order for you to travel away from Germany and be allowed to come back in. Also, as a little tidbit, I will have a different story time on this situation, so I won't dive too much into it, but make sure if you are traveling abroad, even if you think you will not need it, given the whole Schengen area situation that we have in the EU, make sure you bring your residence permit, because you never know if you will get stopped by customs. It does happen. I know it's in the like asterisk, very small print, like to make sure that you have it. Don't ignore that, or at least make sure you have a photo so that you have evidence of it. So number 9 is that grocery stores are 100% as speedy as everyone says. So whenever you are trying to grab groceries from, let's just say an Aldi or a Lidl especially, I feel like it's a little bit slower. Emphasis on like a little bit slower at an Edeka or a Reva, just because it's a slightly different grocery store experience. Expect them to, at the till, really like fly through scanning all of your items, and you are not expected to bag your items at the till. That is the most important part. When they are scanning it, hopefully you have your cart already there parked. What you need to do is grab the items and just put them back into your cart. You do not get bags here, so unless you purchase bags or the paper bags or bring your own, you will likely already have those in your cart as well. Put your items back into your cart, then go into the actual storing till, I guess. There's another till, generally speaking, at any shopping store that you go to, you'll find one. That is where you are actually supposed to pack your goods up so that you can actually suit up and go, but do not do it at the till. The people behind you will get annoyed. I feel like I saw that video. I saw a lot of advice on that, but you can never fully be prepared until you actually see it happen. So another tidbit is something that you will see everywhere, not everywhere, everywhere asterisk. In most places in Germany. There's actually a couple of cities like Munich that do not have these, but they are called Stolperstein. Really, I kind of butchered that. Let's rephrase that. Stolperstein. And those are called stumbling stones in English. I'll leave a picture of them right here, but basically you will see these brass caps that have letters on them, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of what this is. It's a very thoughtful project that was put into place by a local artist who basically created these brass commemorative blocks to recognize the different victims of the Nazi regime. And they are normally placed at the spot where victims were taken. So you'll generally see clusters if there were families that were also taken at the same time. I really suggest, obviously you probably will not have the time to do it every time you see one, depending on what part of Germany you are in, but really take the time to look at the stumbling stones. That's the reason why they are called Stolpersteine, is that you are intended to like stumble and look down and see the impact, see the person who was impacted by the decisions that were made during that time. It's not a joking matter, it's not a laughing matter, but it's also something that really allows you to take in the full breath of what happened during the Holocaust and during this time. I don't know, I find it to be super, super impactful, and I just wanted to make sure that other people who are visiting Germany, if they don't already know about that, just to kind of know a little bit more about that initiative. My last one is not necessarily a Germany specific thing, but it may actually be more of like a Europe specific thing, because I have actually seen this item go for as expensive as $6 in Italy, which is ridiculous. But in Germany, peanut butter is not popular. And it's not just Germany. I feel like, generally speaking, whenever you look around for it in Europe and different European countries, it's just not a popular good. So with that, if you are expecting to see your typical 400 to 500 gram, like bigger jar of Jiffy peanut butter, it's gonna be a little bit of a hard find. If you are someone who's not as picky about peanut butter, you will likely find smaller containers. So I actually have in my cupboard right now a 150 gram container of like Kaufland, and then also Edeka crunchy peanut butter because I am definitely a big peanut butter fan. I'm not super picky about the peanut butter that I eat as long as it tastes like peanut butter, has the crunch factor, I'm good. But I do have some friends here who are very brand specific and they like want Jiffy peanut butter. It's a little bit harder to find here. Kaufland likely will be able to be your best friend in that situation for you to be able to find that specific brand peanut butter, but it's going to come at a cost. So I would 100% suggest bringing peanut butter with you. That sounds like such a weird thing to pack, but if you do not want to pay an arm and a leg, because it really can get expensive here. I know when I was looking at the peanut butters because I needed to restock, at Edeka it was like €5 for a 150 gram like name brand, like American brand peanut butter. The one that I get is just €1.69, so it's not that bad. Not that bad, especially if you go to Aldi. Aldi owns Trader Joe's. They actually sell Trader Joe's peanut butter as well. I've never been to a Trader Joe's before, but if you're into their peanut butter, you'll be able to find that. But anyway, those are all of my tips for those of you guys who are moving to Germany. Let me know if you want more videos like this, or if you want like a fully German video. I just really, really love being here and I love sharing more about Berlin especially, but also just Germany in general. So without further ado, that is all for this video. Let me know any suggestions down below, what else you'd like to see, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya!